Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Depends when you're listening, depends when you're watching. I am Jack Daniels Jacks, and this is Channel 69 News. Coming in your ears at sportanarian.com and live through YouTube. It's World of Sport TV 1. The name has changed, it's got a 1 on the end. We are 13 subscribers away from the magic 500, guys. Get subscribing. Got a great show lined up for you. It's not as jam-packed as normal, but it's filled with quality. We've got F1, we've got boxing, we've got the weather, we've got golf and a bit of cycling. So stay tuned, keep watching. It's going to be a great show. Thank you. Love it. So, guys, let's talk about Premier League football, shall we? So, early kickoff, Spurs v Palace, or Palace v Spurs in that order. Looking like a bit of a boring game, and then Spurs got a man sent off, and Palace ended up trumping them 3-0. Definitely the score of the weekend. Arsenal scraped through against Norwich at home. You expect them to do a lot better, but 1-0. Brentford, after a good start to the season, faced Brighton, who were flying high, to be fair, and still are after a 1-0 win in the last minute. Leicester, Man City's bogey team. But unfortunately for Leicester, they had an offside goal, which was very tight. Man City had an offside goal, which was tight, but not given as offside. Finished 1-0 to Man City. And then the drubbing, Man United 4, Newcastle United 1. The less said about that, the better, but we'll talk about that in the local news. Southampton 0, West Ham 0, bit of a bore draw, but I expected more in that game. Bit strange. Watford 0, Wolves 2, so Wolves finally finding their feet again. And Chelsea in the late kickoff on Saturday, 3-0 against Villa with Lukaku scoring 2. So impressive results there. On Sunday, there was only one Premier League game, and that was Leeds v Liverpool. An horrific injury to the Liverpool player. Leeds player got sent off, and on reflection of it, it was a terrible sending off because it was a fair challenge. It was just a freak injury. We do wish the young lad all the best, but I just feel sorry for Leeds because it was not a sending off. But Liverpool were on fire that day and come through and 3-0. Rafa's men go marching on. Let's see if the Everton fans are still angry as Rafa has been manager. Burnley took the lead, but Everton fought back in the second half and won 3-1. Great result for them, which puts them top of the league, along with 3 other teams who you expect to be there. So Man United, Chelsea and Liverpool all on 10 points as well as Everton. And at the bottom of the league, the bottom 3, Burnley, Newcastle, Norwich. So it's looking sick for the Toon Army, but just have to wait and see. It's a long season, isn't it? Let's get to some F1 news. I'm really excited to have him back. So let's hear what he's got to say for himself.
Thanks very much, Daniels. Yes, absolutely brilliant weekend of Formula One racing at Monza, which had a fantastic result in the main Grand Prix this weekend, with Daniel Ricciardo taking first place for McLaren. Not just a brilliant win, but a brilliant one too, as Lando Norris coming in second position. The qualifying, obviously, on Friday this weekend because of a sprint race on Saturday. The big hitters up there really on the qualifying session with Max Verstappen, Bottas, Hamilton, the usual there. The sprint race was actually won by Bottas, who really needed that, given he'd taken a penalty for the main race on Sunday, which meant he was starting from the back of the grid. But if you look at Lewis Hamilton, a very bad sprint race, ended up in 5th position. So that was 5th on the grid for him for the start of today's race. Now, the penalty for Bottas obviously helped Max Verstappen get onto pole position for the main race. And in second place was Daniel Ricciardo. So the race got underway, and Ricciardo got an absolutely fantastic start. Got the jump ahead of Max Verstappen for the first corner and basically led from start to finish during the race. However, it wasn't without controversy. A terrible weekend for AlphaTauri. Both drivers out of the race very, very early on. Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly failing to get any decent laps in this weekend. But it was Bottas from the back of the grid that really caught the eye. He was overtaking cars for fun, especially on the main straight using DRS. Seemed like he had an absolute rocket ship midway through the race, just overtaken. And he was really catching up to around 6th place. Now, that's when all the controversy started. Max Verstappen comes in for a pit stop. It's not the usual 2-second one from Red Bull by any means. It was 11.1 seconds, and that put Verstappen way back down the field, which then allowed Lewis Hamilton to come in and change. He also then has a slow stop of about 4.4 seconds. He comes out of the pits right level with Max Verstappen. They both go in side by side into turn 1, and bang, a crash. Verstappen's car ends up on top of Lewis Hamilton's, with the back wheel of Verstappen sitting on Lewis's head. So it wasn't too pleasant, but both drivers got out and are both uninjured, which is the main thing. But who was at fault? We're not quite sure. Certainly, Lewis, I think, did give a car space to Verstappen, and Verstappen didn't back off when he really should have. Because if you look at the first lap of the race, turn 4, there was an opportunity there for Lewis to get past Max Verstappen, but Verstappen closed the door. Lewis then backed out of it, which, in my opinion, I think Max Verstappen should have done this time around. But, these two are challenging for the title. Everything's heightened. Max Verstappen would have been furious with his pit stop and wanted to make sure that he kept Lewis Hamilton behind him. Unfortunately, Lewis wasn't going to back out of that either. And for me, Lewis didn't have to. So we'll see what comes of it. But I do believe that Max Verstappen should have backed out of it, as Lewis did on the first lap. But then, obviously, after the safety car, that enabled other drivers to get in there. Obviously, Daniel Ricciardo got away well from the restart. Norris got away very well as well. And then Sergio Perez just behind them, and Bottas in 4th. Now, Bottas, for me, at that stage of the race, was going to be the race winner. He had the speed, he had the power, but the tyres, would he be able to maintain that sort of speed on medium tyres all the way to the end of the race? It turns out not, because obviously he put so much in to try and to get past Perez that he burnt his tyres out. Basically, they were poor at the end. Having said that, though, Perez then picks up a 5-second penalty for an earlier incident in the race, which enables Valtteri Bottas to finish in 4th, but be promoted onto the podium in 3rd because of that 5-second penalty. So all sorts going on, absolutely all sorts in the race. It was great to watch. And I'm chuffed to bits because I'm a big McLaren fan, and it's been a long time since McLaren could have celebrated really anything like that. Never mind a win, but a 1-2. It's just fantastic. And it's great to see McLaren back again where they should be, challenging for wins and challenging for podiums. Daniel Rick has started the season very poorly, if you ask me. He hasn't looked the same driver that he did at certainly Renault and Red Bull. But in the last couple of races, he has started to push a bit more, getting used to the car, feeling around a bit, and really putting his foot to the floor and getting good results. And today it was just a fantastic drive. He didn't panic when Verstappen was on top of him, in the early laps of the race. Verstappen was very frustrated because even with DRS down the main straight, he could not get past Danny Ricciardo. And that, proved very vital, because had Verstappen got past him into, clean air, he would have been away. But unfortunately, it wasn't to be for Max Verstappen. And Lando Norris, again, fantastic drive. He's driven so well this season. For me, he's a future F1 champion without a shadow of a doubt. The guy has bags of talent and he's fearless. There was an overtake move he did after the restart to get past Perez when he actually went a little bit onto the grass at high speed. And just seeing him do that is absolutely awesome. It was really brilliant stuff from Lando Norris. So for me, a future champion there. But if we look at the result, obviously Danny Rick winning, Lando Norris second and Bottas third. Charles Leclerc got the fourth place, and Perez came in fifth, obviously with his 5-second penalty, despite him actually finishing third in the race. Sixth was Carlos Sainz. Seventh was a very good Lance Stroll for Aston Martin. Eighth was Fernando Alonso. George Russell getting some more points for Williams in ninth position. A brilliant drive from him. And getting the final point was Esteban Ocon. Nicholas Latifi just missing out on more points for Williams in 11th place. So I think Latifi will be disappointed, but he's gained a lot of confidence in the last few weeks and getting some points for Williams. So fantastic drive from the Williams guys again. Not the greatest afternoon for Seb Vettel. He came in 12th. He was getting battered all over the place. How his car managed to finish, I do not know, given the amount of times he was bumped along the way. But he'd be disappointed that he didn't get into the top 10. The DNFs were obviously Lewis Hamilton, Max Verstappen, and the two AlphaTauri guys of Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda. So if we look at the fastest laps of the race, Danny Rick came in on the last lap with the fastest lap, beating Bottas. He came in with a 1:24.8. Fantastic final lap. And to me, it just proved the power that McLaren still had there. It was absolutely fantastic. So if we have a look now at the drivers' standings for the championship so far this season, Max Verstappen still leads the way on 226.5 points. So those points he got in the sprint race were quite vital. Hamilton just behind him on 221.5. Then comes Bottas on 141. Lando Norris, who's having a brilliant season, on 132. And in fifth place is Sergio Perez on 118. Now, moving forward, this is going to be a fantastic battle all the way now. 2 weeks' time, we've got the Russian Grand Prix. Is there going to be a bit of spice in that from what happened between Verstappen and Hamilton today? We'll see what the stewards make of it, and we'll see what they decide. Now, the Constructors' Championship, again, is also, still very, very close. Mercedes, 362.5. Red Bull on 344.5. And then McLaren in third, which is vital for them, on 215, which gives them around a 14.5-point gap over their nearest rivals, Ferrari. So for McLaren to be in third, given the past few seasons that they've had, when they've been just really at the back, they are starting to find their form again, without a doubt. And they've got two drivers in Norris and Ricciardo who can really bring them forward. So really, it's all to play for in the next Grand Prix in Sochi in Russia. It's going to be an absolute belter because of certainly what's been created today with Verstappen and Hamilton crashing. There's going to be some absolute, let's say niggles, shall we say, going into the next Grand Prix. Certainly interesting to see what the drivers have got to say, but all round a fantastic weekend at Monza. The race was brilliant. You couldn't take your eyes off it. You didn't know what was going to happen next. But in the end, it turns out that Danny Rick was the man today, and we saw him drink that champagne out of his boot again, which is fantastic. Long time since we've seen that. But to see a McLaren 1-2 today was superb. But Sochi in Russia in 2 weeks' time should be very interesting. Well, that's it. Brilliant in Monza. Back to you, Daniels.
Pit lane, Pete. What an absolute star. What an absolute gem of a report there on the F1. Even I was getting excited, and I hate F1. But yeah, very, very thrilling race. I hope everyone enjoyed watching it, enjoyed listening to Pit Lane Pete there. So normally I would go to cricket because, there was actually a test match scheduled at Old Trafford between England and India. However, India decided that they weren't going to play because of COVID in the camp. None of the players had it, so it's a little bit of an annoyance. But one of those things, I guess. But let's go on to boxing instead and hear from Of the Fox, Mittoo.
Thank you, Daniels. This is Of the Fox Mittoo with your weekly boxing updates. I just wanted to talk about some fights that took place last week down Brighton. I was actually there, Battle on the Beach. Very good card. I wanted to talk about 3 girls who fought for titles. The first girl I wanted to talk about was EFl Championship versus Katarina Vistica from Bosnia. This one was for the WIBA International Middleweight title. It was a very, very good fight. Ellie worked fantastically off her left jab, against a huge, come forward puncher. The girl was throwing, the girl was throwing, Katarina was throwing some great big bombs with the right hand. And Ellie done very well to avoid them, working off a jab, throwing jabs, double jabs, right hands. Very, very good straight shots down the middle. And in my opinion, excuse me, she won every round, using the ring very well, moving left, moving right, dodging those big right bombs, what was coming at her. And boxed absolutely beautiful. And, she won every round and deserved the win. So she won the WIBA international title, and it was well deserved. She put up a very, very good performance against a banger. This girl, she was really tough, come forward, and Elliot boxer with very slick skills. I really was impressed by her performance, and she done very, very well. The second girl I wanted to talk about was Nicola the Hurricane Holtwell versus Cara McLaughlin from Ireland, a former kickboxer. I didn't realise, very, very good fighter, very tough girl, very, very tough, and also a fitness instructor as well. She was very, very, very tough girl. It was really exciting fight to watch. Nicola put up a very good performance against this tough, durable girl who took shots and just kept coming. I mean, I know Nicola can bang a bit because I think she stopped the last maybe 3 or 4 opponents. But this girl, so durable. I mean, Nicola threw the kitchen sink, and she was still standing there. What a performance and what a fight! I really, it was a really exciting fight. So, I was glad I was there to watch these fights live. I really enjoyed them. The other title on this bill was a young 17-year-old girl, Holly the Blonde Bomber Towels versus Christina Pacheco. This was for the WIBA world title over 10 rounds. Holly, every shot she threw was a nice hard shot. She threw a jab, left hook to the body, right hook to the body, switched to southpaw, threw some lovely counters, switched back, moved around the ring very well. But every shot she threw, they were so accurate that they all landed straight on the target. It was such a nice first round. All the shots to the body and head was so accurate. I truly enjoyed the fight. She done very, very well. After the first round, which she won clearly, and they both went back to their corners, I noticed Holly had a little cut on her forehead, and Chris Boyle had to seal it, put some Vaseline, and cleaned it up very, very well. Next thing I know, from the other corner, the towel come flying in before anybody could say anything. So because the towel come flying in, Holly was automatically the world champion, which is a good thing. But I don't know. Maybe they would have probably called it a no contest. But the other corner didn't waste any time. When I looked and saw Christina, she had a nasty cut on her, I think it was left or right eye. she wouldn't have been able to carry on anyway. But they were so worried about the cut, they threw the towel in, and Ollie was automatically the winner, but won the first round anyway, so it worked out well. And all three girls put up a fantastic performance, and I really truly enjoyed it. Hope everybody have a great day wherever you are, or night or evening. Now back to the studio to you, Daniels. Everybody take care now.
Thanks, Harv. Great update as always. Fantastic guy, fantastic lad, and he was at the boxing and he saw it all firsthand what was going on. So fantastic stuff. Looks like my studio's falling apart. Fantastic. The only bit of news from myself is obviously the US Women's Open, and Emma. What a performance. She never dropped a set through the whole tournament. She was absolutely superb in that final. It looked like she was struggling a little bit in the second last set there when she cut her knee. You know, she called for a medical timeout, which was just a perfect timing at 30-40 down on her own serve. It could have been drastic if she continued without taking that timeout. So she used it, you know, level head on her shoulders to take that timeout at that point. Absolute fabulous win. You know, she was the first woman since 1977 to win you know, an Open, and she's the first person ever to win a Grand Slam as a wild card, which is just absolutely incredible. And she wasn't even ranked, you know, and she's put to bed all those ghosts at Wimbledon, and Piers Morgan can shut his mouth for a change, can't he? Which is good. Well, let's go to the golf and cycling with Billy the Shank Trey.
Good morning. Thank you to Daniels for that fine and eloquent and elegant introduction to my special golf weekly news. I'm here on Channel 69 News. I'm Billy the Shank Trey. I'm here every week telling you all about what's happened in the land of clubs and balls and fairways and rough and greens and bunkers and tees and clubhouses and everything like that. So we'll go back to last Monday when the Solheim Cup was decided at the Inverness Golf Club in Ohio. The Europeans held a 9-7 lead going into the final day singles, needing 5 to retain and 5.5 to win overall. As current holders, of course, they won in Glen Eagle in 2019. At the helm was Katrina Matthew, and again she brought the European team to America to try and retain their cup. And so it proved 9-7 overnight going into the final day. They needed, as I say, to get to 14 to retain, and they got to 15 with a fantastic performance in the singles, a 6-all singles performance. Leona Maguire, the debutant from Ireland, was a star of the show. Unbeaten week. She won 4.5 out of the 5 matches. Points from the 5 matches, which is absolutely outstanding. And she went out first or second on the Monday, third. She went out early and won really convincingly. She beat Kupcho, the American rookie, who'd been on a similar kind of path really, but for the Americans, and she was left holding the baby, so to speak, and Maguire absolutely stormed it. It all came down to the rookie Matilda Castron of Finland. She held put on the 18th to win her match and claimed the 14th point for Europe. So that was it retained, and Emily Pedersen won the last match on the 18th too. So that gave us a win of 15-13. Katrina Matthew was enveloped with love and celebration, and when asked if she would carry on and do it again one more time, she said nope, twice is enough. And so the European team will be looking for a captain for the next Solheim Cup, which I believe is in Spain in 2 years' time. But a fantastic performance from the European team, and it was won and lost on the greens really. The European team putted much better than the Americans. But as I say, Leona Maguire, 4.5 points out of 5. She was a star of the show for Europe. And there we were. That's it. That's the Solheim Cup retained and back over this side of the Atlantic for another 2 years. At the moment, what's going on is tournament-wise, we're at Wentworth for the BMA PGA Championship, the European flagship PGA event. And at the moment, this is being led by Francesco Laporta of Italy. He leads by a shot from Laurie Cantor, who got out the starting stalls early. He's had 3 good rounds on the trot. He galloped to a 67 on the first day and a 66 the next. Slowed down to a kind of get out the gate to 70 today yesterday. So he's a shot behind Laurie Cantor. Laurie Cantor hits the ball a long way. Some might say with his name like Cantor and with all the trots and stuff I've slung in there. No, I'm not going to say that because that's quite rude. But that's something to do with Stallion. And we won't go any further. So after that, we've got Jamie Donaldson in third. He's 12 shot behind, level with Adam Scott of Australia. Billy Horschel of America, who's come over to play the event. Christian Bezadenhout of South Africa is also 12 under. These are all obviously massively in contention. Shane Lowry is joint 7th with Wiesberger and Sean Crocker. Lowry and Wiesberger competing for European Ryder Cup places, both compulsory, mandatory, and captain's pick. So they're doing quite well in the scheme of things for that Ryder Cup. 10th is Kiradech Apibarnrat of Thailand. We go down to Nikolai Hugard and Joachim Lagergren and Justin Walters there at 10. They're still massively in contention. Alex Noren has started today. He was down the order. He started his round at 400, but he's gone through 10 holes in 500 today, so he's up into 9. Holes going to run out for him, so he's not going to challenge the leaders, I wouldn't have thought. But if the course is playing benignly today, who knows what happens this afternoon? So Alex Noren is racing up the course at the leaderboard at the minute, so he's gone from 400 to 900 in 10 holes, so he's playing well. But Justin Rose, he needs to win to get himself automatic qualification, 5 shots to the lead possible. Had a 72 yesterday, which probably might make it hard for him. Thomas Peters, Belgium. Tommy Fleetwood, Matthias Schwab of Austria. Shabanka Sharma of India. Beefy Johnston, Aaron Roy, they're all 9 under. Then we go down to Miguel Angel Jimenez. These are only 6 shots off the lead, so they're still possibly in contention. The old stage of the grand old man of the Miguel Angel Jimenez, cigar smoking Spaniard. He's ace. He had a 73 yesterday, so he was well in contention. So he was let down yesterday. Marcus Armitage, Masahiro Kawamura, Rafa Cabrera Bayo, and Martin Keimer. And then we've got some players that are kind of sneaking up the leaderboard now. Francesco Molinari, Bernard Stone, Horsfield, Burmester. They've all started. They're all at the par for the day. And further down the leaderboard, we have Lee Westwood's 1 under after 7 holes today. So he's up to 6. He needs to get further up the leaderboard if he wants to stop Lowry getting automatic qualification. Because I'm not sure Westwood would get a captain's pick. The people in line for the captain's pick are people like Justin Rose, who could, by getting the automatic qualifications, could save Harrington another one with a pick. So Justin Rose, Ian Poulter, the postman. You're not going to go to a Ryder Cup in America without Ian Poulter. He's fantastic. He gets himself up for the Ryder Cup. The Ryder Cup is his best form of golf. He's fantastic in it. Sergio Garcia, another one who could be in line for a captain's pick. So yeah, they're the kind of people. Robert McIntyre of Scotland was probably in line for one, but he missed the cut here. Hasn't played for a few weeks, and it showed with his failing to miss the cut. Same as Ian Poulter, he missed the cut too. A 1 under, which is quite a low score to have the cut at. But yeah, that's how well they're playing around went with this weekend. So as I say, the Italian Laporta, but the events last day will be more about qualifying for the World Cup, I believe, amongst the bigger players. Though some of these bigger players are in massive contention. Lowry, Wiesberger, Rose, to win here at Wentworth, and a big win it will be too. So that's the Ryder Cup for the European team and the third round leaderboard going into today. Should be a good day if the weather can hold firm, and we'll see what happens there with that. So the Americans have already picked their Ryder Cup team, of course. Yeah, they've gone with 6 rookies with the captain's pick. Steve Stricker. But he's got, they're not all rookies, of course. Because Colin Morikawa and Patrick Cantlay are rookies and they've automatically qualified. So, their team is Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Patrick Cantlay and Colin Morikawa. They were automatic as pick. They didn't get their automatic qualifiers through their rankings. And Steve Stricker, the captain, picked to go alongside them Jordan Spieth, Tony Finau, who of course have played before, and he picked 4 more rookies. Xander Schauffele, who's surprised hasn't played a World Cup before. Yeah, he's in. Harris English, who's had a good season. Not the most inspiring of picks, but he's in. Scotty Scheffler, he's in. Daniel Berger, he's in. So the Americans have set the stall out. Stricker believes all players are fantastically set up for Whistling Straits golf course, and we'll see. As I say, the European team's picked tonight, and the Ryder Cup, which takes place later in the month. It's going to be fantastic to watch. But yeah, the European team will be picked later, and next weekend I think we're a bit short for golf. Let's have a look what we've got next weekend. We're currently the 12th, so next weekend there's a stroke play event on the American Tour, the Dutch Open, and the ladies French Open. So a little bit, and the Portland Classic in America for the ladies. So yeah, there's 4 events. And obviously the week after that is the Ryder Cup. So I will bid you a farewell with my usual slices and always nice. You got to stop your shanking because your ball goes all over the shop. You're in and out the rough. You're in the water. Things get wet, and that's not what you want. So, without any further ado, I shall hand you back to Manuel's Crack in the Channel 69 studio, and I shall bid you farewell. And I shall see you next week. Keep putting it in. Auf Wiedersehen.
Cheers, Shank, for that. Love it as always. Let's jump to the weather, then we'll do the local news.
Thanks, DJ. Hi sports, it's Brit Fogland, back with your weather. How are we? Congratulations to Emma Raducanu. Fantastic achievement, the first women's singles Grand Slam title in 44 years. She's defied all of her critics. Congratulations to the tenacious and lovely Emma. So how's our weather looking for tomorrow? Well, largely dry. We've got quite a nice week to look forward to. It's going to remain in the high teens, getting down to sort of the low teens. So we're staying in double figures, which is above average for September. But we're going to have some patchy rain remaining in the north and the east of Scotland and the northeast part of England. But that's going to be drying up. So yeah, we've got quite a nice week to look forward to this week with the weather. So there's a Premier League match tomorrow, Everton versus Burnley at Goodison Park. We've got some cricket, Ireland versus Zimbabwe, and that's going to be at the Civil Service Club in Belfast. And then the Luxembourg Open is beginning in Luxembourg, obviously. That's the women's WTA tennis tournament going out till Sunday. It's going to start sunny there, then it's going to go through sort of like a shiny period between Wednesday and Thursday, and then it's going to dry up again towards the weekend. So into Tuesday, we've got this band of rain coming in from the southwest. It's going to be pushing up through the country. Remaining mostly in the south and the west on Tuesday, so and there's going to be still some persistent rain spots in the north and the east as well, and we've got some rain in Ireland as well on Tuesday, but other than that it's going to be dry, bright. Champions League then is starting, so we've got groups E, F, G and H. Barcelona versus Bayern Munich, that'll be an interesting one to see on Tuesday. We've got the Young Boys versus Manchester United. So Manchester United are going to be playing away to that Swiss team. They last met them in the Champions League in 2018, and that much. Manchester United won 1-0. And then Chelsea have got Zenit St Petersburg at Stamford Bridge. Into Wednesday then, this band of rain is going to be persistent and it's going to start to push up through the country, the southwest part of the country. Everyone else is going to remain dry and bright. The cricket then, International 2020, Scotland versus Zimbabwe at the Grange, and that's up in Edinburgh. And that's going to be dry there. The football, groups A to D on Wednesday. So we've got Man City versus RB Leipzig, and that's going to be the Etihad in Manchester, cloudy. And then Liverpool have got AC Milan at Anfield, obviously a higher chance of being there, and cloudy. Into Thursday then, we've got those showers are starting to die out, but we've got some stronger winds developing, and they're coming in from that northeast part of the country, and they're going to come down and cover the country right down into the southeast as well. So cricket, we've got Women's One Day International on Thursday, and that's England versus New Zealand, and that's going to be at the Bristol County Ground in Bristol. And that's going to be dry. And then golf day is Thursday. We've got the European Tour, so the Dutch Open, that's going to be at the Bernardus Golf Club in Hertogenbosch in the Netherlands. A dry tournament to look forward to there for those men golfers. And then the ladies European Tour, that's going to be held at the Golf de Mittoo Chateau course in and that's near Bordeaux. So I think well, you could argue the men are getting the cheese and the women are getting the wine, and that's how it should be, without wanting to anyway, that's going to be a thundery day actually on Thursday in Bordeaux for that ladies golf, but then it's going to dry up. It's going to be nice and warm for the rest of the tournament. And then we've got the EFl Championship, so that's the USA PGA, and that's going to be at the Silverado North Course, and that's going to be in Napa Valley in California. So the men are getting the wine there, and that's going to be hot and dry in North California. And then the Portland Classic, that's the US Ladies tournament teeing off this week, and that's going to be at Columbia Edgewater Country Club, and that's going to be in Portland in Oregon. It's going to be fine and dry there to start with, and then as the tournament goes on, it's cloudier skies are going to develop. So into Friday, how's the weather looking for Friday? Well, stronger winds are coming our way, and they're going to bring some rainy spells again, unfortunately. So we're going to have a little bit more rain across the country on Friday, but it is going to be drying up. So we've got a bit of a brighter outlook towards the weekend. Cricket and International 2020, and that's Scotland versus Zimbabwe again at the Grange in Edinburgh. And then football, we've got the Toons, Newcastle United versus Leeds United at St James Park. And then Women's World Cup qualifiers is starting on Friday. So we've got Hungary versus Scotland, England versus North Macedonia, Northern Ireland versus Luxembourg, and Wales versus Kazakhstan. So it'll be interesting to see how those teams get on. Good luck to those ladies. Saturday, we've got a nice Saturday to look forward to. It's turning dry again for most. There's going to be still patches of cloud, but this time down this part of the woods, the south and the east, there's going to start to become, they're going to start to develop some foggy patches, and that's just really because, I guess, the nights are drawn in, and yeah, so things are getting a little bit cooler at night, so we're going to have some foggy patches at night. So the Premier League, obviously, Saturday, big day of football. There's so many matches, so many leagues playing on Saturday, obviously. But top of the list, obviously, for me is Liverpool versus Crystal Palace at Anfield. We've got Manchester City versus Southampton at the Etihad. Burnley versus Arsenal at Turf Moor. Norwich City versus Watford at Carrow Road. Aston Villa versus Everton at Old Trafford, and Wolves versus Brentford at the Molineux. In Scotland, Aberdeen versus St Johnstone, Hibs versus St Mirren, and Ross County versus Hearts. Cricket, we've got the Vitality Blast, so there's 2 matches happening in Edgbaston and Birmingham, and then the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy is continuing, and that's going to be 4 matches played across the country as well. So quite a dry day for all of those fixtures. Archery, the men and ladies with the bow and arrows are going all out again this weekend. So we've got the Clophill Archery Club FITA 4 and 7:20 weekend at Clophill in Bedfordshire. We've got the Bowmen of Caradoc Mead Shoot, and that's at Stretton in Shropshire. We've got the Sussex County Junior Championships in Horsham in Sussex, that's quite near me. Leaves Green at Bowman, and they've got their Spitfire Open Longbow, it's gone off the screen, Longbow Shoot, and that's at Biggin Hill in Kent. And then we've got the Hampshire Archery Association, their championships are being held at Exbury in Hampshire. Sunday then, dry for most, we've got another nice Sunday to look forward to. The best of the weather is going to be in the south and the east, and it's more cloudy northwest. So we're going to be sticking with those above average temperatures, and we're still going to be in double figures. Premier League fixtures then, we've got Brighton and Hove versus Leicester City at the Amex, we've got the Hammers versus Man U at the London Stadium, and then Spurs versus Chelsea at White Hart Lane. And in Scotland we've got the Dundee Derby, Dundee United versus Dundee, we've got Livingston versus Celtic, and we've got Rangers versus Motherwell. Cricket, there's an international 2020 game, and that's Scotland versus Zimbabwe again at the Grange up in Edinburgh. And then a women's one-day international, England versus New Zealand, and that's going to be played at New Road in Worcester. And the MotoGP is being held on Sunday as well. Obviously, they've got, the meet will start probably on the Friday, and then it'll be through to the Sunday. But the actual race is on Sunday. That's the San Marino Grand Prix, GP, MotoGP, and that's near Rimini in that beautiful Emilia Romagna region in Italy along that Adriatic coast. It's beautiful. It's going to be cloudy too, and around 30% chance of rain, so it's not going to be blue skies in Italy for that one on Sunday. And then the archers return. They've got the Longmynd Archers, their county championships in Stretton and Shropshire. The Jolly Archers Anniversary Western Open at Hartford, that was delayed from the beginning of the year, postponed from the beginning of the year. That's taking place in Hartford in Cambridgeshire. We've got the Durham and Northumberland Archers Association County Championships in Northumberland. And then the Woking Archery Club, their Open is being held in Woking in Surrey. So thanks very much for joining me again, guys. I hope you've enjoyed your forecast, and I'm going to see you next week again. So take care, and it's back over to DJ in the studio. Thanks, DJ.
Oh, is it me or is it hot in here? Woo. Absolutely knackered. Right, local news very quickly before we go. So Newcastle got absolutely thrashed at Old Trafford. Ronaldo made his return, scored on the 47th minute of, or second minute of injury time in the first half, and then he scored again. Newcastle scored a great goal, but at the end of the day, we got beat 4-1. It was absolutely terrible. But yeah, sod Borough, sod Sunderland, who cares? But I've been Daniels Jack. This has been Channel 69 News. Thanks for watching.